have 1 week go by without someone in baseball looking like an asshole challenge. So thank you for being here, subscribed or not. And if you haven't joined the 49% Elite Humans, consider hitting that button if you enjoy the videos, as we have this week's Karen, I guess you can say, but it's in the form of a male, so it's a Ken, and Ken is literally his name. Ken Rosenthal is a writer slash reporter who's been writing slash reporting for a very long time. I would imagine most of you watching this know who he is, but if you don't, that's who he is. He can also easily be mistaken for Tiny Tom Cruise.
The middle of the word short is or. Or gives you a choice, and I choose not to be short.
Wow, you need a road map for that one.
No, I will say Rosenthal to me has always given off a vibe that he's a little sleeky. I don't even know if that's a word. If it isn't, it is now. And what I mean by sleeky is like, he just seems fake, kind of full of himself, gives off an outwardly vibe that he's friendly when he really isn't, the Ellen DeGeneres method. And this isn't really even anything that in particular other than just the tone of the way he speaks a lot. I don't know. He just seems like he thinks he's better than everyone else. And I know I'm not alone in that thought because I saw a lot of people saying the same thing after this latest incident happened. But there's at least one team that isn't a fan of Rosenthal. Well, beyond maybe the Brewers now. And that would be the Padres. Last year, after Game 2 of the NLDS between the Dodgers and Padres, Rosenthal wrote about the quote-unquote internal issues with the Padres. Basically a hit piece on their bad culture or whatever. He called Manny Machado's throw between innings that almost hit Dave Roberts in the Dodger dugout punkish. He called out Jurickson Profar and Fernando Tatis Jr. for how they acted during the game, describing Tatis as a quote-unquote smiling, dancing peacock. Well, the Padres, as you would imagine, didn't like this very much and actually had him banned from their dugout for Game 3 of that series, a game which they won. And they should have had him ban the rest of those series in hindsight with the way it ended up playing out. Point is, Ken doesn't shy away from being a bit controversial, I guess, and just going after guys, which, hello, look who's talking right now. I wouldn't be surprised if some teams didn't want me around. But yeah, Ken this year also brought up during the All-Star game to Jacob Mizorowski how players on other teams were pissed he was selected because, you know, he was only in the league for so long when he was, and asked how his teammates reacted to the news.
As you know, some players were upset by the fact that you were selected, but how were you treated by the players on your team?
Oh yeah, awesome. I mean, they were all so happy for me, and you know, it was awesome.
And the National League All-Stars, how did they treat you?
They're good. They're really good. Yeah, they're awesome. They're all happy for me. So
again, okay, you can ask that, but it was a really strange thing to ask just on live TV in front of everyone while Jacob is having his moment. Like, hey, this is a cool moment for you, but a lot of players are pissed you're here. Are your teammates pissed too? What do you think he's going to say? Oh, yeah, they hate me. Just weird. And sticking with the Brewers, that's where the latest incident just happened. After the Cardinals bullpen wanted absolutely nothing to do with the win on Saturday night, giving up 7 runs in the last 3 innings of this game, the Brewers walked it off in 10 innings. Fox was doing this game, and Rosenthal is a reporter for them, so he was doing the post-game interview with Andrew Monasterio, the man who just hit the walk-off. And as he was getting Gatorade poured all over him, Ken moved back to avoid it, and as he was doing that, knocked the Brewers team photographer, Scott Paulus, over. Now, I'm not going to sit on some moral high ground. I never like to do that because I'm not some morally great person. None of us really are. We all sin and nobody is really that much better than anyone else. That's kind of the whole point of being a human. But I feel like the natural thing to do in this situation is immediately check to see if he's okay. Like without even thinking, that's, I feel like, what most people would do to help him up, to be like, whoa, and probably start laughing about it with him, like, gee, I didn't see you there, what a moment, you good? Well, no, Ken glares at him like he's a defensive back who just sacked Patrick Mahomes or something. He then does briefly say, oh, my bad, but of course in a very screw you type of way. Like, it was less of a my bad and more so just acknowledging what happened, being like, you idiot. And then he shakes his head like, what a buffoon. And people were freaking out about this all over the internet. And honestly, I really do see this as a peeking behind the curtain of Ken Rosenthal. I'm not saying he's some evil dude, but again, he's given off this vibe in the past. And I'm breaking out a Maya Angelou quote with this one. When someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. Feel like this shows who Ken Rosenthal really is. It gave off the vibe of that reporter from Moneyball.
Did a lot of work to get ready
Excuse
for
me,
this.
could you please get out of my shot? Sorry, go ahead.
He didn't acknowledge this on Sunday, but you had to think he was going to say something about it and apologize at some point, and he finally did on the Foul Territory podcast, which he's a frequent guest on. Watch.
I want to talk about what happened Saturday night when I accidentally bowled over Scott Paulus
the Brewers team photographer, while I was getting out of the way of the Brewers dumping water on Andrew Monasterio. Now, the ever-observant AJ Przinsky joked afterward that I looked like Muhammad Ali standing over Sonny Liston. Now, AJ, of course, is more experienced in these kinds of interactions than I am. And I must admit, though, when I looked at the video, when I saw this, I was surprised at how upset I appeared. I was more confused than anything. Now, I had to continue the interview. We were live, folks, on national television. Couldn't stop.
Okay, gotta stop you there. You 100% could have stopped for just a moment to help him up, or at the very least, go up and ask if he was okay. That's pretty indisputable.
That said, I felt awful about what happened. And afterward, I went up to Scott, who I've worked with in pits before over the years, and I apologized. And I apologized profusely because, let's face it, I don't think that you ever expect knocking someone down is going to happen in any particular situation. So yeah, sure, I apologized, and Fox is doing the American League playoffs this year, so I won't see the Brewers again unless it's the World Series. But if I do see the Brewers in the World Series, I look forward to working with Scott again in the photo pit, and I also look forward to sharing a good laugh with him over this.
Yeah, and as you would expect, a lot of people aren't buying this apology, saying that it seems like the classic, you're only sorry because you got caught. And I mean, sure, look, we saw what we saw, and I really do believe that that was a brief behind-the-scenes, man-behind-the-curtain Wizard of Oz type moment that revealed who Ken is and how he is. And I'm also not alone in the fact that I'm not really surprised that that's how he handled that situation. Let me know your thoughts, and thank you for watching. Love you. Bye.